milk. You might think that you understand milk, but let me tell you, you don't understand nothing. Because I think a lot about milk. And the more I think about it, the more I realize this is not a gallon of milk. This is a gallon of truth. Because milk has a stronger connection to aliens than probably anything else on this planet. And the way to realize the truth behind milk is to look at the cow from which it came from. So where does milk come from? It comes from cows. How do you spell cow? C-O-W. Now these look like regular letters, but they're not. They're actually elements. Carbon, oxygen, and tungsten. And you add all the atomic numbers of those together, what do you get? 86. Now what's the 86th element? Radon. Now radon can be split into two words, rad and on. Rad is just another word for cool, and cool is just another word for cold. And what's the coldest place in your house? The fridge, which just so happens to be the first place milk goes when you bring it home from the grocery store. So we're clearly already on to something here. But it also gives us the letters O and N. O and N are actually next to each other in the alphabet, but the alphabet doesn't go O-N, it goes N-O. So to get the next letter in the sequence, we gotta read the alphabet backwards. So instead of M-N-O, we gotta go O-N-M, which means M is the next letter we're supposed to find. So then if you count all the letters in the alphabet, M is actually the 13th number, meaning 13 is gonna be a very important number for solving this mystery. But another interesting thing about M is that it's the first letter of milk, so clearly we're still on the right track. Now where does the milk come from? It comes from farmers. And who's the most famous man to ever own a farm? Old MacDonald. Now what's Old MacDonald always say in his song? E-I-E-I-O. Now why would he say E-I-E-I-O? I mean, it's such a weird assortment of letters. Well, I'll tell you why. You go back to the beginning, you get the word rad. You add E-I-E-I-O on the end of it. What do you get? Radio or radio. Now you hop on your AM radio and you turn the dial back as far as it'll go. Where does it stop at? 53.0, making 53 another very important number. But also, what's the number one reason everybody drinks milk? It's to get calcium, and calcium is the 20th element, and 20 starts with a 2, and you divide 20 by 2, you get the number 10, and you get that number 10 and you add it on to our 53 number from before, you get the number 63, which means 63 is probably also worth writing down. Oh, but people are not the only ones who drink milk, because according to the ancient Greeks, milk is actually food for the gods. And then you might say, hold up, milk is not a food, it's a drink. And you're right, you eat food and you drink milk. But there is one way that milk can become food, and that's by turning it into cheese. And how many letters is in the word cheese? 7, meaning 7 is another very important number. And then you go to the grocery store, and how are they selling their milk? By the gallon. And how many cups do they put in a gallon of milk? 16. Making 16 our final number. So now we've connected all the dots and we're left with these 5 numbers. Some people might say, Caden, these are just random numbers, they don't mean anything. But they have to mean something, or else the cows wouldn't have made it this obvious. I mean, to find out the meaning of this number, what the cows really want us to do, they want us to go back to the beginning and do what we've been doing this whole time. We gotta use the periodic table, because these are not just regular numbers, they're actually atomic numbers. That's right. 13 is aluminum, 53 is iodine, 63 is uranium, 7 is nitrogen, and 16 is sulfur. Oh no, that spells aliens! Now, you might say, hold up, that's not even spelled right, that's not how you spell aliens. But you gotta remember, cattle can't spell good. Have you never seen a Chick-fil-A commercial before? The more you think about it, the more it all makes sense. I mean, what's the first thing the aliens take when they come here? It's always the cattle out of the fields. I mean, the dots are everywhere. It's in the word cow, it's in the word milk, it's in the word fridge. I mean, everything. It all ties back to aliens. So I think it's time we start listening to the cattle. I think it's time we spread the truth about aliens. I think it's time we spread the truth about milk. Most of all, I think it's time for America to wake up.